Now, according to the recent statistics released by the Ministry of Health, this was just early last year, March of 2022, it did indicate the prevalence of mental disorders in our country, looking at a total of 10,000 Kenyans out of a possible 100,000 who would suffer from one form of mental disorder or the other. This is what you're set to converse in like the next around 28 minutes or so with my guest who is here. That is Simon Muruki, who is a therapist as well as a counseling psychology. And even as we look at mental disorders, what will form center of our conversation is anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorders. Simon, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Let's just latch on this conversation with looking at those grooming statistics. I call them grooming because we are living at a time where mental health issues, looking at the various forms of them, is really posing as a challenge to our country. I mean, looking at 10,000 out of a possible 100,000, which is the number they did conduct the survey on. What do you make of this data?
The data is quite alarming, to say the least, but that is exactly what is happening. And the common person is grappling with the very first kind of a world, the technology, the family, the burdens, the economic nosedive, the political sphere in our world. And you realize the common person is so overwhelmed, and now that has a ripple effect, and it is starting and ending at the mindset, and the brain is disturbed. And now we see a lot of effects, not only on what the statistics say, but also on personal relationship to the kind of burden and the ripple effect from all these environmental factors. Yes.
You're saying that the common person is overwhelmed.
Yes.
From your practice as a therapist, as a counseling psychologist, what would you say are some of these factors that would lead to this overwhelm of people? And we'll come to anxiety momentarily, but then what are this? What are we talking about?
For example, the family line is already threatened. We have seen the kind of gender-based violence that has tripled and skyrocketed in the last few months. And at the beginning of this year, we have witnessed the kind of death from spouses.
Yes.
We have seen killings from even the disciplined forces. We have seen a split in the political sphere. Today you are very far, you have what we call status, and then tomorrow you are an ordinary person, and you're not able to accommodate the sudden change.
The shift,
the paradigm shift. You don't have enough shock. You're married today, tomorrow you're not. You have a family, and tomorrow you're a single parent. You have no idea how to meet your bills. And even before we go to the bills, your personal approach and reception to the sudden change is enough to give you a throwback. And we have very few places we can go out. For example, as a man, if things happen to me that are so overwhelming, one, I'm not supposed to cry because of the culture setup. Two, I'm not supposed to tell anyone that I'm suffering. I should bring my best foot forward. But that is a gimmick. That is not the real issue. So I appreciate that we can come and talk to people and tell them now, wait, don't keep quiet. Get out there and seek help. Get assistance from the ROCOP chief to the ward admin to anybody who is there. Shout out, and it will change. It may not be a very significant change, but if we can deal with one person, they will affect the family. It will affect the community, and at large, it will affect
so then
our world.
We can agree that the factors are numerous. I
They are
mean,
numerous.
you've just given an array of examples
Yes.
from when you could be married today, tomorrow you're not. You could be having a job today, tomorrow
yes.
you're not. You could be a mom today, tomorrow you're not. So then, who needs to prepare humans for this?
Thank you.
Or you just
Thank you. That's the best question right now.
learn on the go?
One, the family setup, the family unit is supposed to help us. But how is the family now? It's grappling with food scarcity,
Oh, yes.
rent, the very first world, technology. For example, I'm using a gadget.
Yeah.
And my son is better on the gadget. So I try to look at him, the kind of lifestyle I was used to is so different. When he told me he wants to become a chef, I thought, I saw the chef from the point of what my mom used to do. And from what I knew, I didn't like what my mom used to do. So when he comes and tells me, I want to be a chef, it took me a lot of time to first unlearn what I know about a chef, and then accommodate and go to his place of work and realize he's not even using anything to, he's not using what my mom used to clean the dishes. He's actually putting them on a dishwasher. And that changed my setup. And I realized how badly, as a father, I was affecting my own son because I was not ready for the sudden change. I expected him to be like this, but according to him, he has already cultivated his life, whatever he wants. So you asked, who should help the common person?
Yeah.
The family unit. But now it is coming with a lot of challenges. So we cannot say 100% that the family is qualified to help you.
So then who should be helping who?
Thank you. That's why we are here.
Because, I mean, I agree, you
Yeah.
come from the practice, you are there,
Yes.
but you realize at the end of the day, it still revolves around family because you would still go to see a therapist.
Right.
Whether it's anxiety, depression,
Yes.
you name any type of illness, mental
Right.
illness it could be.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you will still go back to that family.
Right.
So then, how do we start this process of unlearning, relearning? Because we say in the 21st century, the stupid, so to speak, for lack of a better word,
Yeah.
is not the one who hasn't really gone to school or
Right.
gotten any form of education, is the one who cannot unlearn
Yeah.
and relearn.
Yeah.
How do we start? How do we change that?
One, we need to look at what we are having, the short-term goals and the long-term goals.
Okay.
Let us all take a personal initiative of bettering ourselves by way of communication, by way of finances, by way of personal growth. You may not be learned, so to speak, but you can always get a book online, you can get a magazine, and you can better what you want. Have set boundaries that tomorrow I want to be like this. Get online classes. Apply for a new position in a certain college. Don't go there with a closed mind. You want to better yourself. Two, get out there and better your spouse. But when I talk about spouse, I am very sensitive because that is also another issue that is bringing the disorder and the anxiety in the first place. Because you say, I am a working class, and then my spouse is a working class. The pressure she gets from the manager or from the managerial position is having an effect because she'll carry her work at home. She's overwhelmed. And then I'm not even able to pay the bills. So we don't have power. And she has a deadline, so she cannot even do it on her laptop. That alone will not only trigger a reaction, it will now trickle down from, I'll not be given food, my kids will be isolated. I'm using me or
Yes.
I as an example
Yes.
for better understanding.
Yeah.
So the commoner, right, the person watching me is overwhelmed. And I read someone who was asking, where do I go? To the left, where nothing is left, or to the right, where nothing is right, seems right. So that is where we are. We are trying to grapple with the middle ground. So when you decided we talk about the we talk about the anxiety.
Okay.
That is an opener. Because some of the people who are already grappling with these issues, they don't know they are exhibiting some underlying conditions. And we try to sit down with them and we try to help them demystify their very lives. That is very fast. So they don't even have time to pause and listen as we give them the guidelines.
I hear you.
Yes.
And what I've just picked is what you've said, that someone did ask, where should I go? To the left?
Where nothing.
Or to the right, where nothing does seem right.
Yes. So you can imagine that person's perspective.
I hear you.
Yes.
So then when you talk about obsessive compulsive disorder,
right,
normally termed as the OCD,
yeah,
Simon, what are we talking about? Is this a condition? Is it just a practice? What is it?
These are three-point kind of words. Let's start with obsession.
All right.
An obsession is something repeatedly done. Whether it is done correctly and it becomes a pattern, then it becomes a habit, and then it becomes addictive. Now that is the obsession. The compulsive is now what triggers or the sequence of what has happened. It is a disorder. And the funniest thing, sorry to say, it's funny, is like so many people don't even know that they have.
That this is actually a condition.
It is a condition, but amazingly, very few people even know that they have it. So when it exhibits and destroys their social life, that's the time they realize, why did I lose a job? Why did I lose this interview in the first place? Because someone somewhere sat down and analyzed you and realized you have a disorder, and we don't want you seen with that.
What is it characterized with?
The first thing is habitual and continuous behavior and mannerisms. If you allow me, I can demonstrate.
Yes.
What is the time by your watch?
By my watch, it's about some 20 minutes.
So after the next 1 second, just check on your watch.
Okay,
then
still around that time.
let's continue.
Just check.
Now check it again.
We are still around the time.
Now, don't talk about the time. Just continue checking as I talk to you.
As I check, check my watch?
Yes,
right.
Make sure you check.
Yes.
So what you're doing is a disorder.
But I'm just checking the time.
Thank you.
How is this
but you're checking the time so many times.
But at times I could be late for something.
Yes.
Late for an assignment, late for a meeting. So I just constantly be checking on the watch.
No, that's the
What's the problem with that?
That is the problem I have, because you don't even believe whatever I'm saying, that you have a problem. You're giving a reason.
That's what
that is one of it.
Okay.
That is one of it. If you see a person, you checked on your watch 2 minutes. Then after 30 seconds, you're doing it. Then the whole day, it has become an obsession. And you may not know that you already did that. Someone else will point out to you, why do you keep on watching your watch, checking on your watch after every 10 seconds? And then it becomes a habit, and you're not even able to drop it. So you go for an interview, and because you're already used, you have that mannerism of checking your watch. Immediately you're told, now, Simon, we are starting, you check your watch. Then after 2 minutes, you check. So the panel thinks, we're already wasting your time. You're dismissed. You lose it. And you didn't even know what caused. And unless someone addresses you, and then you're not kind of defensive, and that is why I'm having it very difficult to tell someone, do you know what you're having is an exhibition of anxiety disorder. I want to show you something else. Can you kindly push up your hearing? Thank you. After every 2 minutes, kindly do it.
I keep doing it.
Yes. What's so funny? Do it. Continue doing it.
After every...
Yes, after every few seconds.
Every few seconds.
Now, that's a disorder.
As you keep doing it oftentimes.
Yes. I know of a friend. Every time he buys maybe a new coat, he puts it on and you kind of try to fit it. So he has always tried to fit it even after buying it, even after owning it, until today when he talks. That's exactly what he does. So people think
So
he's
this is,
proud, arrogant, and now the disorder has affected him because his persona has completely changed.
So this comes off from a habit.
That is why it's called an obsession.
All right, that you'll continuously do.
And
sometimes
encourage.
subconsciously, not even realizing you're constantly checking your watch, not realizing you're constantly flipping your hair.
Yes.
You wouldn't realize.
Yes.
Until someone points it to you.
And then you become very defensive that, what is the problem?
I'm just
what is the problem with checking my watch?
Yeah.
What is the problem taking my tea? What is the problem doing this? What is the problem checking on my phone? Like if I take you or someone takes you for a date, and the first thing you do is you put your phone on the table. As a psychologist, that tells me something. You are subconsciously conscious about a call or about an SMS you're expecting. So you will not give me the full attention. I want to show you something.
Yeah.
Cross your hands like this. Whenever you talk to someone,
classes, eh?
don't go there.
Yes. So
I'm giving you this very simple basics.
Yes, yes.
To tell how to realize someone has excessive or the obsessions disorder. Okay. Whenever you're talking to someone and they hold themselves like that, what do you get from the person or the position? They
might be bossy.
Okay.
Is it? I'm assuming if you sort of like want to appear, if you're like this, I'm assuming you sort of want to appear like you are bossy, sort of like on top, like the head, and I'm like, you're like demeaning me.
What if it is a kid in class and
the kid, something could be wrong?
Yeah, what is that something could be wrong? Try to guess. I mean, we are analyzing
yes. So
it's very simple.
Something could be wrong with the kid, eh?
No.
It's not?
This person is very much ready to listen, but he's closed.
So you are there but not there?
Yes, you're there.
This
you're
is
listening,
what this means, eh?
But I will only get whatever you're saying, but I'm not open for discussion. Very simple. The body gesture is a non-verbal communication. So as a psychologist and as a therapist, we move from the conscious communication to the subconscious actions and patterns because of this behavior. For example, if today I'm talking to you and all of a sudden you close your eyes like this, whether you have an issue or not, it pushes me to think you're not even listening.
That's what that means.
Yeah, it pushes me as the speaker or as we are conversing to realize you're not there simply because you close your eyes for any reason.
Even if it's just for seconds.
Yeah, so we really pick what your body language is telling us for that particular moment.
The non-verbal cues.
And the non-verbal cues actually speak volume. That's why people say that actions speak
louder.
I didn't say it. You repeat it.
Actions speak louder than words.
So why even am I talking? I can just give gestures and you'll be done by the day.
And you realize even what you're asking me to do is things that you wouldn't even
things you don't even think.
Like I'd be asking you a question even as my guest and said, okay, Simon, tell me more.
Yes. You'll be able to know.
And this already comes off as something entirely different.
Simply because I picked it from, I always have that perspective, like if I am going somewhere and I want to look like I am listening, I should close my, where did you get that from? That to me is interpreted very differently from someone who doesn't even know the meaning of, so it is always very good to sit down and know the reason and the repercussion and the ripple effects of every gesture. For example, a simple handshake will tell me so much about the next order of events. Very simple. So when I'm talking about obsessions, I'm talking about something you think is very small, but it is interpreted. For example, I come and I am tired, and I tell a family member, I need, can you pass the pen? And then I throw it to you. I want it's just for this. I want to throw it again to you
for this interview.
Okay, there you have it.
Yes.
What does that tell you?
And I decide I'll throw it back.
Now what you have created
Back
by
at you.
throwing it back,
Sorry about
what
that.
you have done, you have now increased my anxiety. And
Wait.
now,
Just pause for the purpose of context
yeah,
and for understanding.
yes,
So this was you taking that classical example,
Yes.
perhaps from a busy day.
Yes.
You came home tired.
Yes.
And maybe you were asking for something and you wanted to just relieve you of what you had.
Right.
And you threw the pen as you did.
Yes.
And I threw it back.
Yes.
Assuming this is what normally happens to in good number of family setups.
right.
One would say you were just tired.
Thank you.
But
That
in
is
other
a
words-
defensive answer.
Okay.
Let's now get back to
the root.
why did you throw it to me
Yeah.
in the first place?
Yes.
Because what you have done, one, you have done two things.
Yeah.
You have agitated me. Two, you have picked my agitation.
When you say agitation, this means now anxiety levels have gone high.
I've gone high because
right.
I'm wondering,
Okay.
I only needed a pen.
Yeah.
What is this that is so difficult closing over and giving me the pen or the car keys?
Yeah.
So why didn't you just wake up and hand over the pen courteously? Why did you have to throw it? Is it because you're so much used to me? Are you belaboring me? Is it because I never brought food on the table? And now I pick some anxiety and aggressions, and the time bomb in my emotions are simply triggered by what you have just done.
Oh my goodness. And we don't even realize this.
You don't even realize, and then you have already left. So I'm left behind asking, why did she throw the pen? What else has she done in the recent time to show she doesn't care about me? Yesterday she didn't cook my favorite food.
Okay.
And then you start now thinking, creating mental pictures and movies that will replay the whole day. Then by the time she comes in the evening, you already have a list of expectations. She didn't call me even after that to apologize.
Yeah.
And you know what? You never even did it consciously. Actually, you don't even remember.
I hear you.
Some of the things, the gender-based violence or even the killings have started.
Yes.
The perpetrators, or rather some of them, don't even know that
I hear.
they did anything.
I hear you. And you realize, someone, that these things is what would in terms of its ripple effects,
Yes.
is what would even lead to the number of gender, as you talk about it, the GBV issues,
Yeah.
the number of death cases in the country, because it starts as small as such, but in the long run, the ripple effect is quite dire.
Yes.
And we have about 5 minutes to exit this space, Simon, and I want
Yeah.
you to respond to this issue, because going by that particular report
Yeah.
released by the Ministry of Health in March last year, part of what was being proposed
Yeah.
is the fact that we decriminalize issues of attempted suicide.
Right.
So that also we can make these persons more open.
Yeah.
Just from where you sit as a therapist, as a counseling psychologist,
Yes.
as we try to conclude this conversation,
Yeah.
is this something we need to be thinking about as a country, decriminalizing that aspect as far as attempted suicide is concerned?
Well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
Some answers, you'll never get them. Some solutions, you'll never get them in the court of justice. It's a personal initiative. If, for example, we criminalize that, and we have not even realized what led to the agitation in the first place. For example, I'll give you a very simple illustration,
Yeah, very quickly.
very quickly.
Yeah.
We learned that someone killed the husband and buried them in a sewer, and after that they were released on cash bail.
Yeah.
Then the family came and knew where that person stays, and they realized there was no justice. Then the son decide that is so toxic, they can't live in such a country, and they take out their lives. What do you take of that? One unresolved agitation will open a floodgate of issues that even the court of law will not help. We need to get back again to the small units, to the daycare, to the nursery school, to the church school, to the ministries and the churches, to the small groups from the ward, from the family. And then we raise up people who understand how to deal with issues. Because the moment you take an upper hand as a judge and slam something on someone who is already grappling with a turmoil inside, how do you even rate a turmoil if someone is not even talking to you? We need to open more dialogues. We need to open forums whereby men can come out and talk about what is killing them. What are they going through? I mean, let's talk. Let's open very, 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 very free kind of one-on-one forums. Let's encourage people to even take paper and pen and write anonymously. Like I saw a box there. Let's not only have a suggestion box, let us have a box that I want to talk. Don't even have to name who did. But the moment you talk, the management will realize we have these issues, we have these issues. Then we can open up forums whereby people can talk freely. It will really help us not to go to the side whereby we are using extreme measures for issues we could definitely solve, like the way I threw the pen to you. That would cause a lot of damage to the extent the moment you come back in the evening and you do something else, award the 1 plus this
like
one.
Like the way I threw it back again.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
And then we will start fighting. And then the kids will be involved. There'll be a split. And then there'll be the divorce. And then there'll be the... And we have just started the cycle. We really need to know, where do we stop the cycle of these disorders?
Well said, and a good place to end it. Where do we need to stop the cycle of this disorder?
Now that we know what causes these more issues, where do we stop the battle? That is now to you.
Exactly, and also just a simple conversation will always go a long way. Thank you very much, Simon, for your time. I highly appreciate your inputs and examples as well into these conversations. Asante sana. I've been speaking to...
I'll say something else. It is Simon Macharia.
Simon Macharia.
Not Muriuki.
Not Muriuki.
Yes.
Pardon me for that. Pardon me for that.
I do.
It is Simon...
No offense meant, I know.
Simon Macharia, indeed, who is a therapist as well as a counseling psychologist. Of course, what has formed center of our conversation is looking at anxiety as well as obsessive compulsive disorder, just the factors that will lead to this and just how best you and I can be able to deal with this, even just at the smallest setup in the society, which is the family setup. Good place to end this conversation, and ultimately, good morning, Kenya. Thank you so much for your time. Till tomorrow, good morning.